Ladies and gentlemen, at this time, we ask you to please rise. Ladies and gentlemen, to honor America with the singing of our national anthem, please welcome Hope College sophomore, Mr. Eliseo Bastillos.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the bright last light's gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fights o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Eliseo Bastillos. Starting at center for the Comets, a 6'5" junior from Saginaw, number 2, Eddie Thigpen. And at center for the Flying Dutchman, a 6'9" junior from Lansing, Illinois, number 44, Sam Free. At one guard for the Comets, a 6-foot senior from Detroit, number 0, Keon Rainey. And at one guard for the Flying Dutchman, a 5'11" freshman from Zeeland, number 1, Clayton Dykehouse. And at the final guard spot for the Comets, a 6-foot junior from Otisville, number 12, Sean Hardy. And at the final guard spot for the Flying Dutchman, a 5'11" junior from Ludington, number 23, Calvin Hackert. The Comets of Olivet College are coached by Sam Hargraves. The Flying Dutchman of Hope College are coached by Greg Mitchell. Your officials this evening, Mr. Aaron Weber, Mr. Doug Diekman, and Mr. Arnulfo Perez.
For the conference opener in the MIAA, it's the Flying Dutchman taking on the Comets of Olivet College. Hope College comes in at 7-4 overall, impressive in non-conference play. Olivet, meanwhile, comes in at 3-8 overall, looking to get into the win column for the first win of the year in conference play. So we'll throw it over to Rose Thompson and Noah Russo joining me this evening. Keys to the Game brought to you by Lawrence and Vandersworth. Financial planning done right. For all your financial planning needs, visit lawrenceandvandersworth.com. Rose, keys for this Olivet team.
Yeah, thanks for John. This game obviously is going to come down to defensive effort. I think we got to come right out the gate with some intense defensive pressure, and obviously establish an aggressive lead on offense right out the gate. I mean, obviously the first couple minutes of the game, all about effort. So whichever team comes out and really puts that effort in on both ends of the court, it's going to make the game a little easier for one team or the other, and let's hope it's Hope.
Yeah, Rose, I think you're absolutely right. And then on the Hope side, Noah, keys to the game for this Hope team, looking to get their first conference win of the year.
Yeah, when we look at this Hope team, they're averaging over 80 points a game this year, and I'd definitely like to see them push the pace because Olivet's struggled sometimes to get in those high-scoring matchups. Additionally, they got to find a little bit more consistency on offense. Over the tournament during this Christmas break, there was a little bit of an issue where Matt Zanstra actually was the leading scorer, and he's coming off the bench. Just find a little more efficiency in that starting lineup, and they'll be good.
And we're out of that 2 apiece. A nice feed inside to Vree. Has us tied at 2. Hackett with the defensive pressure. It's Rainey, drives inside, met by Thomas. Ball falls, and they're up 4-2. Just a minute gone by in the first half here in front of a packed DeVos Fieldhouse. It's Dykehouse with it now, top of the key. Finds Granger, goes inside to Vree. Vree working one-on-one, strong right hand off the glass, and he gets it to go. Rose, you talked about starting fast. Nice job by Vree going off top of the glass.
Yeah, I think utilizing the size of this Hope team is going to be really important in this game. Obviously, Sam Vree is a small 6'9" out there. Obviously, Olivet has some big players too, but working the ball inside is going to be really important if we're going to have an offensive game here for Hope.
And then Noah, early on in the year, Hope really struggled in transition. You see them winning in transition so far. What do you think needs to change for them to be able to win in this phase of the game?
Yeah, they just have to calm down a little bit. They definitely pushed it a little too hard early on. If they give time for Preston Granger to get through the middle, team's leading scorer, I think they'll definitely be set up better.
It's a nice move inside by Thomas, but it's blocked. And the Comets in transition, and it's blocked on the back end by Vree. And it's Hackert who crosses the timeline.
Yeah, that's a phenomenal effort by Sam Vree, getting back on defense and able to make a big block.
And it's Granger, 15-footer falls short. It's the Comets in transition. Rainey with it now, working on Granger, goes top of the key. Feed inside, and the little float shot hits absolutely nothing. That was Britton Angel on the miss, the freshman from Big Rapids. And Granger with the right hand gets it to go.
Assist from Dykehouse. That was a good look coming down the court, pushing the ball up in transition.
And Dykehouse is one of those guys who has incredible court vision and can really help with this Hope offense. No, like you talked about, has the potential to be so explosive as we get down the stretch. Nice defensive play there. And it's Hacker who crosses the timeline. Hacker down the lane, out to Granger. Granger's pass is deflected. It's Rainey in transition on spin cycle and gets up for the layup, and we're knotted at 6 apiece.
And what we're seeing at this moment is Olivet's just pushing the ball a little harder. Hope's turning the ball over, and as we see a great response from Dykehouse. But overall, Hope has to limit these transition plays because Olivet's definitely showing an ability to score.
9-6, the early Hope lead, 16:44 remaining in half number 1. Inside move, strong move with the right hand, no good, but it's rebounded by the Comets. Pass intended for Martin, goes out of bounds, and so Tyler George comes in for this Dutchman team. 16:32 remaining in half number 1.
And Tyler George is going to give some necessary shooting for this Hope team. They haven't been quite as good up beyond the three-point arc this year, and he's done a good job. He's shooting around 45% on the season, and they're able to get him on the corner. He can definitely make the defense pay.
Dykehouse inside, kicks to Granger. Granger working on Martin. Dykehouse now top of the key. Inside to Granger. Granger, strong move, and he gets the floater to go. It's 11-6, and Granger with 4 points on the evening.
A good shot move by Granger.
Dykehouse will be called for the foul. Coach Mitchell is absolutely livid, letting the officials hear it early on at the DeVos Fieldhouse. It'll be Dykehouse's first foul and team's first foul. Again, this is the conference opener. And the front end of two falls for Eddie Thigpen, the junior from Saginaw. Fans, make sure to sign up for the mobile app. Get the latest score updates, statistics, and game recaps straight to your phone from the new free Hope Athletics Front Row mobile app. Sign up for any of the sports you want to follow. Search Hope Athletics on the App Store or Google Play. Learn more at athletics.hope.edu/front row. So the back end of two falls short. Dykehouse from way downtown off the mark, but it's rebounded by Hackert. Granger with it now, trying to move inside on Martin. Fadeaway jumper, no good. And that's the Comets in transition. And in transition is Angel, the freshman from Big Rapids, gets it to go, and it's 11-9.
Yeah, and it's been a little frustrating on offense so far for Hope. As Granger makes a great play, he's going to keep using that athletic and size advantage to get his shots up, and as long as they continue to get him the ball, they should be able to stay in this game.
Another thing that the Hope offense has been trying to utilize tonight, you see them running a dribble handoff quite a bit. Helps to isolate some of the size disadvantage, running it with the bigs, especially Preston Granger. He's running that really well. St. Brie was running it earlier in the game. Running some good ball screens. Again, this Hope offense is going to need to utilize their speed from their guards, pushing the ball, and then, again, working it inside to their bigs.
A three-pointer by Sean Pardee, and that's George on the charity stripe for the first time this evening. It's 13-12. It's a one-point game. And George sinks the front end of two. Mason Oppel comes into the game for the Flying Dutchman. You recognize him as an MIAA standout quarterback for the Flying Dutchman team. They made it to the first round of the playoffs for the first time since 2006. Decided to play some basketball this year, his senior year, so good to see Mason Oppel out on the floor for this Flying Dutch team.
Yeah, Mason's becoming a three-sport athlete right on the fly, and he's definitely going to be able to give a good physical presence inside for this Hope defense.
Comets with it offensively. 16 on the shot clock. Mason goes straight up and down, but he's called for the first foul for him this evening. It'll be two team fouls for the Dutchman. 14:35 remaining in the first half. Hope up 14-12. And on the line is Colin Carter, the junior from Mount Pleasant. Stands tall at 6'7" on the charity stripe for the first time this evening. First shot falls, and the deficit is one.
And an advantage for Hope today. When we look at Olivet, they're only shooting 68% from the line on this season. And if you can put them there and make them earn it, that might be an advantage.
So we are knotted at 14 apiece. Hackert crosses the timeline. Tries to find work far side. Pass intended for Thomas is knocked out of bounds, and coming to the game for the Comets is number 24, Noah Wiswari, the freshman from Jenison, product of Unity Christian High School. So Hackett will inbound left, 20 seconds on the shot clock. He finds Granger. Out to George, gets a screen from Oppel. Has to go to Thomas in front of the Comet bench. Now it's Hackett, top of the key, drives inside. Wants to look for Granger, but instead gives it to Oppel, who lays it in for the first points of his career at the DeVos Fieldhouse. 16-14, the 2-point lead.
Yeah, good basket by Oppel, and that was a great job up top by Hacker. He couldn't get to his first option, able to get the head fake, and gets it inside to Oppel, who finishes with soft hands.
And that's number 2, Eddie Thigpen. Took a couple of extra unsolicited steps, otherwise known as a travel. 13:49 remaining in half. Number 1, it's a turnover. And the Dutchman will inbound in front of their own bench. It'll be Oppel to Hackert.
Also another lineup change for the Flying Dutch. Joe Wilkins, number 4, in for the the junior from South Haven, Michigan, joins the lineup for Hope.
And Wilkins is one of those guys who may not have the best touch from the field, but he's just an all-around athlete and can really help this team in the transition game. It's 18-14, the 4-point Hope lead. 13-25, remaining in half number 1. 20 seconds on the shot clock. Comets trying to get something to go offensively in a bit of a scoring drought. It's Thigpen working on Granger. Thigpen inside with the left hand off the mark. Rebounded by Oppel. And George looks like he's going to be called for a foul.
Yeah, and that's unfortunate. Good physical play by Oppo. But again, we're seeing just how much stronger Hope is down low between Granger and Oppo and Vree in the beginning of the game. They're able to back them down pretty easily and get their shot.
So 13:08 remaining in half number 1.
Got an offensive foul call on the Comets. Turnover, that'll be Hope ball going the other way.
It falls on Eddie Thigpen, his first, team second. And so it's Oppel to inbound to Wilkins. Wilkins crosses the timeline, has the base of the anchor.
Good ball screen from Oppel. Dribble handoff from Preston Granger.
Nice move inside for George. Gets a scoop and score to go. 20-14. It's Sean Pardee working on George. Pardee pulls up. Jumper is off the mark, but it's rebounded by Thigpen. Thigpen for 3. No good off the mark. Rebounded. High rebound by Wilkins. Wilkins pushes the floor, finds George. George inside with a strong move and gets it to go. 22-14. And so first-year coach Sam Hargraves wants to talk things over. It's going to be a full timeout, so we'll step away. 12-13 remaining in the first half. Hope with the early 22-14 lead.
We've intentionally never had minimum account sizes. Our philosophy has always been if you're willing to put in the work and we'll collaborate and we set the plan in place and you're willing to go along with this plan and to put forth effort to this plan, we're happy to work with you. It's what we love to do. And so we have people coming in from the very starting point all the way to, to the wealthy people. It's all different scenarios. Financial planning is not just for the wealthy.
What do you think Hope has done that leads them to this 8-point lead?
Obviously both of these teams are running the floor hard in transition. Olivet has, you got to give them credit, they've had some really big transition buckets throwing the ball up the court. But I think what it's come down to, where this lead has come from, is Hope's size and our quickness. Tyler George coming off the bench, putting some big buckets, big layups in right away when he came in, but also Preston Granger, Sam Vree, bigs doing work inside and taking advantage of their physicality and their ability to size up their opponent. I think that's got to be something that continues to be a huge focus for the remainder of this game if Hope wants to maintain the lead.
So Preston Granger picks up his first foul of the evening. That's his team's fourth foul, and the three-point shot was good by number 12, Sean Pardee, the junior. Ball goes out of play, and it'll be Hope basketball.
Tipped off Matt Zanstra on the attempt for Olivet to inbound the ball.
Yeah, and I'm excited to see what Zanstra does on offense. He's coming off a game where he went 5 of 5 and was Hope's leading scorer. So they can get him going a little bit. He can also stretch the floor.
And it's Wilkins with the now base of the anchor, goes left. And Wilkins carries. That's a turnover. It'll be Comet possession. It's Jared Long, the junior from Montrose, working on Wilkins. 24 on the shot clock. Three-pointer shot is off the mark. George in transition, the 1-on-2 inside. Zanstra is blocked, but it's George with a follow-up, and he gets it to go. Second chance point's huge.
Great survival by this Hope offense. That was a pretty devastating blow, but George able to keep himself composed and finish.
Drive from Wisbury. Oh, and a battle for the rebound on both two Hope players. And Olivet comes up with it and puts a bucket in.
Yeah, these second chance points are showing to be crucial to both programs. So the ball is tipped around, and it's going to be Comet possession. Sam Vree picks up his first foul. And that's the team's 5th foul. Coming to the game for the Comets is Keon Rainey, the senior guard from Detroit, product of Consortium High School.
And for the Dutch, Jeff Bikes, number 32. He's a sophomore from Hawthorne Woods, Illinois. Again, adding to the size of the Hope lineup. Hope's probably looking to utilize some mismatches on Olivet's guards.
And the bucket is good by Jared Long, making his presence felt. It's Wilkins, base of the anchor, 24 seconds remaining on the shot clock. It's George with it now. Being worked on by Rainey, picks up his dribble, finds Vree inside. Vree on Martin, but Vree takes an extra step. Call for a traveling violation. And it's another turnover.
That was a good job by Martin on the defensive end. He kind of pulled the chair out a little bit in the post, so Vree was a little off balance. And based on that, he stumbled a little bit before he could get his first power dribble.
And so it's Rainey will bring the ball up the floor. Just north of 10 minutes remaining in half number 1. Rainey drives inside, strong move with the left hand, too strong off the mark. It's rebounded by the Dutchman in transition. Dykhouse, strong move with the right hand, no
Tries
good.
to pull the foul, doesn't get the call. Olivet is out in transition.
And the inside move is good. It's number 24, Noah Wisery, the freshman from Jenison.
I think at this point in the game, both teams maybe need to slow it up a little bit. We're getting a little antsy out there, wouldn't you agree?
Yeah, absolutely, Rose. I think you're right. And it's just leading to mental mistakes. It's only a 1-point game. It was 8 at one point.
I mean, you got to respect the effort to get up and down the court, but it also means you got to take care of the ball when you get the opportunity on offense.
So it's a 30-second timeout courtesy of Greg Mitchell, so we'll keep it right here, 9:43 remaining in half number 1. Fans of the Orange and Blue Fund exist to support the mission of Hope College and the athletics program, which will have a lasting impact on student athletes and coaches. More than 500 student athletes participate in Hope's athletic program each year. The gifts support enhancements that promote the academic success, competitive excellence, and transformational experiences. Each year, the athletics administration team and coaches will work together to identify the greatest needs, wishes, and desires for the Hope Athletics program that cannot be addressed through the financial avenues. Learn more at hope.edu/orangeandblue. Visit them to donate today. So it's a 1-point lead for this Flying Dutchman team coming out of the timeout. 9:43. Noah, you're Coach Mitchell. What are you telling your players in the timeout?
Well, I mean, you have to live in transition buckets. That's really the only way Olivet's been scoring in this game. Hope's definitely dominated in their half-court sets, though they just tend to turn it over, and Olivet's been exploiting them. So you got to slow it down, try to execute your offense a little better, play through your bigs.
And
That's one strategy that Olivet's obviously trying to take advantage of. They got some smaller, quick players out there, so pushing the ball in transition. Obviously, Hope is struggling to keep up with that fast game. We got to settle it down, control the ball on offense.
And the bucket is good by Colin Carter, the junior. And Olivet with their first lead of the evening. It's George. Wants to go inside to Vree, but has to go back to Hacker, base of the anchor. 15 on the shot clock. Dykhouse inside to Vree. 10 seconds remaining. Vree with a strong move with the right hand, and he gets it to go.
That's a good look for the Hope offense. Got a little bit of a mismatch in there with Vree against number 11, Colin Carter. He's done a good job sizing him up, but Vree's got some size, that's for sure. And rebound from Vree on the other end.
Dykhouse with it now across the timeline, working top of the key. Tries to go inside to Vree. Vree being double teamed, but Vree travels again. His second travel in about 3 minutes. It's another turnover, and it'll be Comet possession.
Yeah, that's kind of a tough look for Dykhouse. Vree was not really paying attention. He was trying to get positioned for a box out. Probably should have gone up with more of a floater look there, but you like the commitment to trying to move the ball.
We have Granger back in the lineup for Hope.
And it's Long, drives inside, strong move with the left hand off the mark. Too strong, and it's Dykhouse in transition. Finds Granger, over to Hacker.
Screen from Granger in transition.
And Vikas for three. That is off the mark. And off the mark is Martin. Can't get it to go twice. Dykhouse, strong move with the right hand off the mark. Ball's tipped out of bounds. It'll go to the Comets. 26-25, 7:51 remaining in half number one. Some chaotic sequences there.
Yeah, but I do like the aggressiveness from Dykhouse. Early on in the season, we didn't really see him push it into the hole very often. And overall, I think it's going to lead to better looks. Hopefully he can get his shooting percentage up, though it'll definitely lead to better stuff.
Pass intended for Thigpen. Now he swings it to Martin.
Turnover. Hope comes up with it. Back in transition, number 24. Evan Thomas has the ball. And another turnover on the other side.
And Noah Thomas is one of those freshmen with a lot of hype, and he comes out in full force tonight. Eventually worked his way into the starting lineup, and I see him at the cherry stripe for the first time this evening.
Yeah, Evan's an interesting player because he can play the 3 and the 4. It's fun to see him in a small ball lineup playing the 4 because he adds a little stretch to the court. Right now he's in at the 3, and you can definitely see that physicality as he tries to push himself to the rim.
And Mason Oppo checks in the game. And Dykhouse, that's Thomas, will shoot the back end of 2. He's up, and it is no good. It's rebounded by Martin. And it's Rainey with it now. And he crosses the timeline, 25 seconds on the shot clock. Thigpen tries to put a move on Granger. And it's Martin, base of the perimeter.
A little miscommunication on the defensive end for Hope.
Fans wanted to travel, didn't get it, but it didn't matter because you didn't make it. And it's the Flying Dutchman in transition. It's Hacker, gets a screen from Oppel. Stops, pops, can't get it to go. Ball is tipped by Oppel out of play. And it'll be Comet basketball, 6:54 remaining in half number one.
A little bit of difficulty scoring on both ends of the floor tonight. Past couple minutes, it's been a little dry out there. Had some missed jump shots, missed layups. Obviously, we said at the beginning of this broadcast that the efficiency of the offenses on both ends of the court are going to be really important. Let's hope Hope can pick it up a little bit in this next couple minutes.
Yeah, really haven't seen fundamentally sound basketball the past few minutes. The shot by Long is good. That's kind of been his spot throughout the evening on that perimeter baseline side. And it's Dykhouse being worked on by Rainey. Dykhouse inside.
Gets the foul call. And he'll shoot 2.
And Rainey is called for the foul. That'll be his first. That'll be team's 5th foul. So Dykhouse on the line. The freshman guard from Zeeland, Michigan, product of Zeeland East High School.
Yeah, it's an unfortunate miss, but we look back to the play. It was a great job by Dykhouse to get the defender on his hip. Therefore, the defender's at his will, and when he did that little pull-up action, he forced a foul.
There it is. We got to make this team too is struggling to shoot free throws tonight. They're easy buckets.
That could haunt him down the stretch. It's Long with it now. being double teamed.
Another
Over to
miscommunication
Thigpen.
on the screen.
Thigpen loses control. It's Dykhouse in transition. And the pass is stolen, intended for Hackers. Thigpen in transition. Strong move with the left hand, awkward looking shot, gets it to go off the glass. And Olivet with the 2-point lead, just north of 5 minutes remaining in half number one. Granger, strong move with the right hand, kisses it off the glass and it's good. Thigpen wanted a charge, didn't get it.
Good Euro step there out of Granger, taking it right to the basket. Even from the perimeter, he can drive it in, he can deliver from the down low. He's really delivering for his team tonight, putting up some big numbers.
That's Pardee for three.
And Pardee and Long have really been the only guys to be efficient in this half-court offense for Olivet. I like to see them keep getting the ball to them. That's a good defensive play. Or get to Thigpen because there's just not many 6'5" guys that can move like he got in this league.
And Pardee is going to be called for an offensive foul. Much needed for this Hope team. It's a turnover. 5:09 remaining in half number one, 32-29. The Olivet lead. And Joe Wilkins comes into the game for the Dutchman. Coach Mitchell trying to shuffle up his lineups. I know this is a Hope team that wasn't known for being a deep team just about a year ago. And you see Coach Mitchell playing a lot more guys, trying to get much more of his team involved, especially as you get into conference play.
Yeah, this is a different Hope team. There isn't necessarily that one set-in-stone superstar guard that they're going to play through. They have a lot of talent down low this year and a lot of just consistent scorers all around, so it'll be fun to see how this works out.
Oppel inside, and he gets it to go the end one for Mason Oppel.
Got a good pump fake, got his defender off his feet. You know, that's trouble. He did a really nice job of keeping his footing and finishing strong through the contact.
We talk about these guys that may not be exactly the best basketball players in their DNA, but these athletes know where their body's in space. They know how to be aware of the situation. And that was a great job by Oppel, knowing that shot clock was winding down. He had a guy in his back go up and get the foul.
And we watched Mason play a lot of football this year. He's able to finish through contact.
A little bit of baseball there too.
A little bit of baseball.
Contact argument doesn't contribute, but he does a little bit of everything.
32-32, it's a tie game. Hope came in as the favorite. Olivet with only 3 wins on the year. But Hope has struggled in the early going in their set offense, and it's a tie game in the conference opener. My goodness, Thigpen shot is off the mark. It looked good. Thomas in transition. Thomas for 3. Nothing but net for the freshman Evan Thomas.
That's a big bucket for Hope. Momentum changer, if I do say so myself.
And the jumper is off the mark. Thomas crosses the timeline in transition. Wanted Granger down low. Thomas kicks outside to Wilkins. Wilkins for 3. Off the mark. Tipped around by Thomas. Still
Good
fighting for
offensive
possession.
effort. And
Granger.
Granger gets the old board and finishes strong through the contact. And one.
And much to the delight of the DeVos crowd. 37-32. Hope with the 5-point lead. Rosie talked about momentum changing by Thomas, and all of a sudden now it's a 5-point lead. We were down 4 just about 2 minutes ago.
Some might say I called that one. Maybe not. Noah disagrees.
We'll go with it. We'll go with it. So Granger on the line.
Take the credit.
Can't complete the 3-point play. And it's Olivet now. With possession is Noah Wiswery, the freshman, being guarded by Hackert. Pardee goes inside to Martin. Martin. Ball goes out of bounds, intended for Britton Angel, the freshman. And it'll be, it was tipped out of play, and the ball will stay with the Comets. 15 seconds on the shot clock, 3:33 remaining in half number one.
A definite plus this far has been Hope's half-court defense, outside of a few strange threes. As they force another turnover, we're just able to see them switch well, and they're just moving their feet and making plays.
It's Angel with the traveling violation. It'll be Oppel to inbound to Wilkins. 3:26 remaining in what has been an exciting first half, 37-32. The narrow 5-point lead. And we've seen this game switch on a dime. And Thomas rises and drains for 2.
Looks like Hope just ran a set play on that one, looking to utilize the size of Opple and Granger in there together, setting a double screen, and Thomas came off that strong and knocked it down.
Inside goes Martin. Strong move with the right hand off the mark. Gets his own rebound. Goes up with the left hand, and it's good. Second chance points, and it's 39-34, the 5-point lead. Hackert with it. Far side finds Thomas. Over to Opple. Back to Hackert. 18 on the shot clock. Wilkins gets some help from Opple and backs it out. Finds Granger inside. Spin move. Strong move with the right hand and the floater. It's good. 41-34.
That's just a phenomenal hesitation in the past off of another good move, but Preston's definitely in the past would have tried to throw that ball up at the rim after the spin move, and he's able to show the discipline to contain himself.
Hackert over to Granger. Top of the key finds Thomas. Hackert to Opple in front of the Comet bench. It's Granger with it now, under 10 seconds on the shot clock. Granger with the jumper off the mark. And it's Martin in transition. Tries to draw contact from Granger. Some extracurricular activity, no call. Under 2 minutes remaining.
Good show of character, though, on both sides of that play. We had some little bit of a run-in between two of the players, and just both of them stopped, took it off, and got back into the game.
Granger's one of those guys we expect him to get in the mix a little bit. And the ball is stolen by Rainey. Defensive play, trying to get his offense back in it. Thigpen is fouled at the top of the rim. We'll wait for a number. And it'll be Granger who's called for his second foul of the evening. Granger with 14 points.
That was a pretty fortunate play for Thigpen because he didn't really have any control of his body. He just kind of threw himself into Granger. He was fortunate that Preston kind of played into him and moved his feet.
And Thigpen sinks the front end of 2, 41-39, 1:19 remaining in the first half. Reed checks back into the game for the Flying Dutchman. Thigpen's second. It is up and it is good. So Dykhouse checks back into the game for the Dutchman. It'll be Reed inbound. 30 seconds on the shot clock. Dykhouse tries to work inside. Kicks out to Opple. Opple drives strong with the left hand. Goes up with the right hand. Off the mark. Offensive rebound. Opple for 3. Off the front of the iron. No good. Rebounded by Vree. Vree finds Thomas. Thomas with the ball fake. Nice move inside with the left hand. My goodness.
Good little Euro step there out of Thomas. Faked out his defender. That's exactly what that move's supposed to look like. That's pretty.
Thigpen top of the key. Now it's Long. Double team goes inside to Martin. Back outside to Thigpen for 3, and it rattles home.
That was a great stop by Olivet, able to get into the paint. Hope kind of got out of the area on defense, and Thigpen able to find an open shot.
20 seconds remaining. About 1/10 of a second separates game clock from shot clock. 10 seconds remaining on the shot clock. Dykhouse drives inside. Off the mark, and it's rebounded by the Comets. 3 seconds remaining. The shot is good if it goes, and it's off the mark. So we'll head to halftime tied 43-43. Fans, make sure to stick around. It'll be a good second half. We'll see you on the other side of the break.
Ladies and gentlemen, just a reminder that Hope College basketball is teaming up with the Van Institute to bring you this year's Purple Games. The games will be on Wednesday, January 22 at 7:30 for the women, and then Saturday, January 25 at 3 p.m. for the men. Pre-order your purple shirt by Friday, January
Lawrence and Vanderswaard, we are interested in the history of our community. The early Dutch settlers knew that in order for the tiny Holland community to flourish, they were going to need the shipping industry to stop by. So they began digging the channel without help from the government, all by themselves. The dream of a real lighthouse was realized in 1936, when it switched on its big light for the very first time. The ships came, the lighthouse became an icon, and the ambition and hard work of those early settlers continues to bless our community to this day. Innovation and ambition today can pay dividends for decades. Lawrence and Vanderswaard, interested in our history, invested in our future.
Here are your individual scoring stats from the first half. First, for the Comets of Olivet College. Number 24, Noah Swery with 2 points. Number 3, Jared Long with 2 points. Also number 20, Britton Angel, and number 0, Keon Rainey, both with 2 points. Number 11, Colin Carter with 4 points. Number 1, Chris Martin with 8 points. Number 12, Sean Party with 11 points. And team high honors to number 2, Eddie Thigpen, leading the way for the Comets in the first half with 12 points. For the Flying Dutchman, number 1, Clayton Dykehouse with 4 points. Number 40, Mason Oppel with 5 points. Number 44, Sam Vree with 6 points. Number 24, Evan Thomas, and number 14, Tyler George, both with 7 points. And team and game high honors to number 51, Preston Granger, leading the way in the first half for the Flying Dutchman with 14 points.
At Lawrence and Vanderswart, we're interested in the history of our community. When 26-year-old jeweler Jacob Raven came to Holland in 1889, the northwest corner of 8th Street and River Avenue was already home to the thriving Holland City State Bank. Raven told bank personnel that he wanted to build a clock above the bank to keep the town on time, and it wouldn't cost them a cent. True to his word, Raven raised the funds with donations from merchants and local factories. High above the city streets, the tower was completed in 1892. Holland's clock tower still ticks high above 8th Street, watching over a town that still loves to run on time. Innovation and ambition today can pay dividends for decades. Lawrence and Vanderswart, interested in our history, invested in our future. At Lawrence and Vanderswart, we are interested in the history of our community. This farm once belonged to Albertus Van Raalte, founding father of the city of Holland. And this house, built by his son Ben in 1872, has been known through the years as the Maples, due to the large trees in the front yard planted by Van Raalte himself. These trees stand today because of the industry and vision of Albertus Van Raalte. Today, the De Graaf Nature Center taps the maples and demonstrates how maple syrup was made centuries ago. Innovation and ambition today can pay dividends for decades. Lawrence and Vanderswart, interested in our history, invested in our future.
Ladies and gentlemen, just an update for you. The Flying Dutch are in action at Kalamazoo at this time, and at the half, the Flying Dutch lead 44-18. That's 44-18 at the half. The Flying Dutch lead at Kalamazoo.
Welcome back inside the DeVos Fieldhouse. Brajon Crispin alongside Rose Thompson and Noah Russo getting set to bring you what should be an exciting and exhilarating second half. We're not at 43 apiece as we get ready for this second half. First half stats brought to you by Simpatico Coffee, coffee that's brewed fresh daily. Try the Oaxacan Gold today.
Looking at the first half, we do have some stats here. And looking at this Olivet team, they've shot very well from three. They're 4 of 7. They're 83% on the line, and they're shooting a total of 44% from the field. They've done pretty well getting to the line, though they have had the 8 turnovers. Looking at Hope, they've definitely struggled with their own 7 turnovers. They're not shooting as well. 54% from the field overall, which is great, but only 33% from 3, and troublesome 37% from the line. So definitely some stuff to pick up.
Hackert misses off the mark. And Rose, if you're this Olivet coach, your first year at the helm, trying to get your first conference win, what are you telling your players in the locker room, knotted at 43 apiece in a tough environment to play?
Yeah, absolutely. I think, obviously keep doing what works in the first half. Pushing transition is going to be huge for this Olivet team. Obviously, Hope does have them outside. We were talking about that the first half pretty continuously, but I think it's also really important to slow it down when they have the opportunity on their offense. I think they did struggle a little bit to set down their half court and run their plays. But like we said, Hope does a really nice job of maintaining their defense and getting good stops. So I would say just play their own game and not try to push it too fast, but take advantage of the opportunities that they have when they have them.
So 12 seconds on the shot clock. It's Pardee. Awkward looking floater, but he gets it to go for the first points of the second half for this Comet team. It's Dykhouse in transition. Finds Granger top of the key. Over to Thomas. Thomas rises and sinks. Thomas got hot at the end of the first half, picking up right where he left off. He has 9 on the contest. 18:35 remaining in the second half.
That was a strong take to the basket by Olivet's number 0, Kenyon Rainey. An attempt at an offensive rebound for Olivet resulted in a foul and a turnover. It'll be Hope ball.
And the foul was on number 1, Chris Martin, the junior from Santa Cruz, California. He picks up his first team's first. It's Vree on the elbow, finds.
Good dribble handoff, finding Thomas again, trying to utilize his heat on his shot, but that one will be wide.
It's Thigpen with the left hand off the mark. It was Vree chasing defensively, but they get their own rebound. Pardee thinks about it. Awkward looking floater inside, gets the runner to go. And it's 47-45.
And Pardee's been very aggressive so far. He's already 6 of 10 from the field, and he seems to be Olivet's leading scorer, a player that has only averaged about 8 points a game this season. Definitely coming out aggressive as Martin gets the basket.
That's not the start that you want to see from if you're Hope College. Olivet coming out, 2 big buckets in transition, and Coach Greg Mitchell called timeout.
We'll do a full timeout. We'll step away. 49-45, the early Olivet lead in the second half. (49-45), the Olivet leads. 17:45 minutes remaining in the second half. Not a great start for this Dutchman team as they came out of the break Noah, on the Hope side, what went wrong?
Yeah, Hope's just been giving a lot of transition attempts for this Olivet team, an Olivet team that hasn't done very well in a half-court set. And based on that, as Granger does a great finish, they need to keep going back to that set they have on their offense. As we can see, Sam Vree up at the top of the key, plays at the elbow. They do a dribble handoff, as Rose mentioned earlier. And that's definitely set up some good looks for Thomas and some of the other guards.
Martin with the strong move inside.
Looked like they weren't going to call that, but he was called for a travel on the take. Attempt at a spin move, but can't get it to go.
So it's Dykhouse who will bring the ball up. He crosses the timeline, 49-47, the 2-point Comet lead. Granger, top of the key, to Hackert. Hackert to Vree. Vree to Thomas. Thomas thinks about it. Drives inside. Awkward looking pass to Vree, but Vree capitalizes on the nice pass by Thomas, and we're knotted at 49 apiece.
That was a great job by Thomas, going baseline, able to draw a double, dumped it off to Vree, who almost wasn't ready for it, but he was able to corral it and get the easy layup.
Martin off of the leg of Vree. And a possession will stick with the Comets, still inbound baseline left, and Thigpen will check into the game for the Comets.
Had a kick call on that from the ref on that one, and Coach Mitch and Sam Vree, who the ball was called off on, are not happy about it.
That shot misses everything, and it's Dykhouse in transition, finds Thomas. Thomas inside, strong move. He's fouled and headed to the free throw line to shoot two.
It's a good outlet pass from Granger, coming off aggressively from the defensive rebound and finding Dykhouse in transition. Thomas getting the foul.
So that is Rainey's third of the evening, and it's Thomas at the line. And the front end of two is good. Mason Oppel comes into the game for Vree.
Thomas has been a pretty good free throw shooter all season. It was strange to see him miss one in the first half, but you gotta love seeing him be aggressive and get his own shot. Coach Mitch definitely has to be excited about his young talent.
And the second shot is up, and it's good. 51-49. Hope regains the lead, although a narrow 2-point margin. It's Pardee with it now. Inside. Pass tended for Thigpen, battle for possession. Granger in transition. And Granger tries to slam it home, and he misses on the dunk attempt, but it's rebounded by Oppel. Throws it off of Angel out of bounds. It'll be Hope possession, 28 seconds on the shot clock.
Got some high emotion on the floor after that play. Couldn't get it to go. Looks like Hope is regaining its collection and get back at it. Dykhouse will take it out of bounds.
Dykhouse to inbound baseline left. Finds Granger in front of the Hope bench. Over to Dykhouse. Drives inside with the left hand off the glass. Too strong. Strong rebound by Thigpen. Jared Long drives inside, double teamed. Kicks outside to Thigpen. Back to Long. Long to Pardee, base of the anchor, gets some help. Deep three, and he gets it to go. My goodness, the net didn't move, 52-51.
Pardee's definitely having a game. He's finding his own shot, or he's just going to pull up from the anchor.
Is 18 points on the contest. Granger, soft floater off the mark. Rebounded by Angel. And he finds Pardee to Long, inside to Thigpen. Thigpen off the glass with the left hand, and it's good.
Hope struggling to match up on that defensive effort. And again, you just see this Comet transition game, moving the ball around, and Hope can't keep up with it if they're not going to know who they have on defense.
Dykhouse draws left hand. Has to kick it back out to Oppel. Granger with it now. Strong move inside with the right hand, and it's good.
Granger's just going to bully him, get into the paint, finish with that soft touch.
It's a beautiful face-up move, though, from Granger. Just good composure. Gets his defender off his feet. There's not much you can do about that. Gets it to go.
Dykhouse in transition, 56-53, the Comet 3-point lead. Granger inside, off the mark. Too strong on the release. Thigpen inside, nice pass inside. And it is good, this number 11, Colin Carter.
Another good composure play.
And
Colin Carter had 2 defenders on him on that play and just kept his footing, had an easy layup. Again, a little bit of a miscommunication on the Hope defense.
And Thigpen receiving medical attention, and Coach Mitchell riding the officials about a 3-second violation, teaching them about the importance of counting to 3.
What a concept.
Something I just learned in my class the other day, so you know we're getting places.
Good.
I guess I should take notes.
58-53. The Comet 5-point lead. Granger working on Martin. Kicks outside to George. George to the ball fake. Oppel inside. Being double teamed. Kicks out to Granger. 10 seconds on the shot clock. Dykhouse inside Oppel with strong move with the right hand, and it's good.
That's beautiful off the ball movement by Oppel. Just again shows his athleticism and his natural ability to just see the court. Dykhouse did a great job of maintaining his defender and finding him on the move.
And Pardee is fouled. And the foul is on number 4, Joe Wilkins. It's his first. And the team's first foul of the half.
That was a good job by Pardee. He saw Wilkins putting his arm up a little too far into his chest, and he just elevated in the air and came down on the arm to force the foul.
And the front end of 2 is good. Vree comes into the game for Oppel, and Pardee with a chance at a 20-piece in the first conference game of this season. And the shot is up, and it is good. So 60-55, the 5-point Comet lead, 13:41 remaining in the second half. Dykhouse, shot is off the mark. Tries to fight for his own rebound. It's Granger who eventually comes down with it. George for 3, off the mark. Wilkins with his own rebound. He's fouled. We'll wait for a number. And that was the fouls on number 11, Colin Carter, the junior. It's his second and team's third foul.
You got to give this Hope team some credit, though. They just got 3 repeated offensive rebounds, picked the ball out, kept their composure, but couldn't get the ball to go into the hoop.
It'll be Wilkins to inbound baseline right. 20 seconds on the shot clock. Wilkins finds Vree. And that's Wilkins, base of the anchor, gets some help from Granger. Finds Thomas back to George. George drives baseline left. Strong move with the left hand. Way off the mark, out of play. And the ball belonged to the Comets.
Yeah, and I want to see Hope get a little better of an offensive set going. It seems morale's down a little bit, and definitely need a big.
So you're going to say the ball was tipped, so it was the inbound, and Thomas with the shot, but it was rejected by Jared Long.
That was not the possession I was hoping for, but.
You got to give that Black some credit. It's pretty impressive.
Jared Long with the early invitation to the block party. No RSVP necessary. It's Thomas who rises off the mark. And it's Carter in transition. 1-on-2. Carter is blocked by Thomas. Somebody call the SWAT team, my goodness. Vree can't capitalize. Gets his own rebound, 20 seconds on the shot clock. Vree in trouble, finds Wilkins. Wilkins drives baseline left. No good. Vree is fouled in the leg to the charity stripe to shoot 2. Chaotic sequence of events leads to a pair of free throws for number 44, Sam Vree.
Maybe this Hope team can put the ball in from the free throw line, because those layups are looking pretty challenging out there.
It has been a struggle, and both teams have definitely.
I mean, yes, you got to give the physicality the credit it's due, but Still got to be able to make a layup.
And at least Hope's on the offensive glass, able to kick it out a little bit.
Exactly. Their offensive effort on the rebounds is definitely what's keeping them in this possession.
Calm down.
Ready to shoot the back end of 2. And the shot is up. It is good. So the deficit is now 4. Just north of 12 minutes to play here in the conference opener. Long being worked on by Thomas. Goes inside to Thigpen. To Martin working on Vree. Martin to Pardee. Pardee for 3. Off the mark. It's George in transition. George to Wilkins. Wilkins, strong move with the right hand. It's up and good. And the lead is now just 2.
And now Hope's starting to be Olivet at their own game. They've definitely been getting out in transition a little more. And that's definitely putting pressure on Olivet's half-court offense.
Long inside to Martin. Just beats the block attempt of Vree. And the lead is back to 4. Wilkins.
Really smart play by the Olivet offense.
Jump stop finds George. George finds Thomas. Thomas drives left. Up with the left hand, right down Broadway. And Coach Mitchell wants a timeout. It'll be a full timeout, so we'll step away. 62-60, 11:37 remaining in the second half.
Full timeout.
You know, when you're more than a manager, you're not just saying, "Wow, you came in, thanks for coming in, and you know, this is what your investment did." It's so much more than that. There's so much more going on in their lives than just these investments, and it's good to understand that totality so that you can say, well, you know, I know there's a better way of doing this, or I have a resource. I know, you know, there's some other resources that we can help you with here. So it's not just financial planning. It's serving people. It's serving people and loving on people, and that's very joyful.
Guilty.
11:37 remaining in half number 2. 62-60, the 2-point Comet lead. It was tied 43-43 at halftime. It's been back and forth ever since. It'll be Comets to bring the ball up the floor. Noah, if you're Coach Mitchell in the timeout, what are you telling your players to try and get them back into this contest?
Well, just keep being physical. Shots have not been falling for your team in the second half, but you've been able to create opportunities in the transition game. As Joe kicks it out.
Granger
Gets it to go.
off the glass, that's good. We're tied at 62. Olivet in transition. Pardee inside, off the front of the iron, no good. George for 3, off the mark, rebounded by Wilkins. 20 seconds on the shot clock. Granger inside with the right hand, that's good.
And that's a great job by Granger, realizing he has the smaller Pardee on him, getting the ball immediately and going to work.
64-62, Hope with a 2-point lead. Long in trouble, he's fouled by Thomas, and Thomas will pick up his first foul of the evening. He has 13 on the contest. As Carter checks back into the game for the Comets, it'll be 20 seconds on the shot clock. They'll inbound baseline left. Pardee, and the shot is good. He has 22 on the evening.
Good shot by Pardee, exceeding the season average of 18. Definitely that's got a guy for Hope that they have to key in on.
Thomas on the free throw line, can't get the shot to go. It'll be a foul. And the foul will be on number 14, Tyler George. It'll be his second, team's third. Interesting thing to watch down the stretch will be once these teams get into the bonus, who's going to shoot free throws down the rest of the way. Both teams struggle in the first half. I think he said somewhere around the ballpark of 33% for Hope in the first half, and those free throws are going to be crucial once you get down to the last few minutes of the game.
Yeah, it's been interesting because an Olivet team that's struggled overall from the free throw line, shooting 87% from the line this game. The Hope's the meager 50%. Definitely something to pay attention to.
Wilkins over to Thomas, 25 on the shot clock. Granger inside, and Granger is fouled. And the foul will be on Carter, his third, and team's fifth. Hope will inbound baseline right, excuse me. We're not at a piece at 64, 9:39 remaining. Inbounds pass goes to Granger. Bicus, Hackert. Inside look for Thomas. And Thomas gets it to go with the left hand.
That's a good isolation play for Thomas, trying to take advantage of clearly his ability to post up, even though he is a little undersized. But when you have drawing a guard defender and making him guard a post player, that's not an easy task, and he made it work.
Carter works inside.
Does a great job of keeping his footing. Gets it to go.
9 minutes remaining in the second half. Inside Bicus. Off the mark and out of bounds. The ball will go to the Comets. We're knotted at 66 apiece, and in comes Mason Oppel.
Bringing Oppel in, you're definitely going to see a little bit more physicality, matching that up with Granger and putting Thomas to the three. That could definitely give Hope a size advantage coming down the stretch. As Rose mentioned earlier, Thomas can do well in the post, definitely with the smaller guards on him.
And it's Thigpen inside, met by Oppel and Granger off the mark. Granger with the rebound, finds Thomas. Thomas in transition, crosses the timeline, spins, and they're going to say he carries. And it'll be another turnover, 8:42 remaining in the second half. And so it's Long. Crosses midcourt, now has it base of the anchor, finds Pardee. Pardee's been their hot hand throughout the contest. Tries to find Martin, and he does. Martin, baseline right, goes back to Pardee. Pardee over to Thigpen. Thigpen on the elbow. Drives with the left hand off the mark, rebounded by Granger. And the outlet pass goes to Hackert. Hackert crosses the timeline, working on Long. Over to Thomas.
Preston Granger gets the foul call at number 1. Keaton Rainey. Got to give Rainey credit for putting up with that size mismatch on the inside, but there's got to be a balance there too. Gets called for the reach.
So Vree checks back into the game, and all of a sudden when Martin sits, now you have Vree and Oppel down low, and you bring in Dykehouse, who's fast in transition. Mismatches for Coach Mitchell. And the tip-in attempt off the inbounds pass is no good. Outlet passes. There's a foul in the play. And Sam Vree will be called for the hold. It'll be his second. I know it's hard. That's a tough call because your back is turned towards the ball. You're worried about protecting the outlet pass, and it's called for the foul.
Right, if I can make a football comparison here, Vree in coverage as he goes up strong for that one. He never got back to see the ball, and therefore once the Olivet player made the catch, he just had no control of himself and had to run into him.
And Vree picks up his second foul in as many minutes. He has 3 on the evening, 9 points to go with his performance tonight. Granger getting ready to check back in as Pardee sinks the front end of 2. Vree will check out. In comes Granger. So on the floor for the Dutchman, it's Granger, Dykehouse, Thomas, Oppel, and Hackert. And the back end of 2 is good for Pardee. So Coach Hargraves in his first season at the helm trying to get his first conference win of the season at the DeVos Fieldhouse. It's a full timeout. We'll step away. 68-66, the 2-point lead.
Monday, hit the road.
Honey, did you remember to bring the GPS?
Nope.
Oh. Well, you have an app on your phone to tell us how to get where we're going?
I do not.
Really? So you have an actual map, like the kind that are hard to fold?
Uh-uh.
You just know where you're going?
No idea.
Don't be this guy when it comes to financial planning. LVZ Advisors. We'll help get you there.
Hey, we're a little lost. Do you know where the lake is? Yeah. All right.
Back inside the DeVos Fieldhouse, 7:57 remaining in the second half. It's a 2-point lead for the Comets, 68-66. It's been a tight one all the way through. Rose, if you're Coach Hargraves, what are you telling your players in the timeout up to?
Honestly, I'll say that the remainder of this game is going to come down to composure, and whichever team can, maintain their effort in transition and actually finish buckets, it's going to be crucial. Obviously, neither team is shooting super well from the field. But those stats are neck and neck. It's going to come down to effort and composure and being able to finish the ball, put it in the hoop.
Britton Angel picks up his second foul of the evening, and the 1-on-1 first shot is good by Thomas. The chance for the equalizer here. And the shot is good, and we're knotted at 68 apiece. It's Long with it now, base the anchor working on Dykhouse. Long drives left. And Mason Oppel picks up the charge, and the foul is on Carter.
That was textbook.
Did we mention that Mason Oppel started playing basketball about a week ago?
Hasn't played since high school.
That's incredible. He got his feet set, got outside the charge arc, took it like a pro. You can give his football experience credit for that one, though. I will say that.
Hackert to Oppel. Oppel to Thomas. Granger inside being double teamed. And he travels. It's a turnover. And the Comets will take over.
That was tough. Preston got caught under the basket. Tried to go up on the left side. That was guarded well, so he tried to get away with a little extra stop.
Rainey working on the perimeter to Thigpen. Hardy loses control. They're going to say he's deflected. It was off of his own leg. Coach Mitchell can't believe it. And the refs in the stands can't either. Martin, awkward looking shot off the glass, no good. Fight for the rebound. It's Rainey.
Deflection by Thomas.
Thomas crosses the timeline in transition, finds Granger. Granger, strong move with the right hand and throws it down. Olivet in transition. And it's Thigpen with a quick answer. We're knotted at 70 apiece. 6:35 remaining. Ball is deflected. It'll stay with the Flying Dutchman.
The energy in this arena picked up a little bit right there. Great dunk by Preston, and good job by Olivet getting right back at him. The Hope was not expecting them to go down the court that fast.
Granger.
Good dribble handoff.
To Dykhouse. Granger inside working on Thigpen. Hand check by Thigpen, no foul call. Granger working inside. met at the top, double teamed. Oppel with the rebound, working inside. He stepped out of bounds. Actually, they're going to say he's going to stay with the Flying Dutchman, and Hacker will inbound baseline left. 20 seconds remaining on the shot clock, 6:18 remaining in regulation. Granger with it on the perimeter, finds Thomas, 15 on the shot clock. Thomas, strong move inside, and he's fouled. And Olivet fouls on number 3, Jared Long, his third. And so now Hope in the bonus. And this is where they can pull ahead with these free throws. Thomas, a reliable free throw shooter. Both teams have struggled in the early going.
Number 4, Joe Wilkins back in the game for Hope.
And when we look at Joe, he's definitely going to be more of a defensive stalwart. And that can definitely help as they head back.
And the first of 2 is good. 71-70 into the narrowest of margins. It's only 1 point lead, 6:13 remaining. And the shot is good. Thomas with 19 points on the evening. Second in scoring to only Preston Granger, who has 24. Big defensive possession for the Dutchman. It's Angel working on Hacker to Martin. Martin tries to go baseline, and he does. It's Wissery to Pardee. He's been their hot shooter all evening long, and Wilkins is called for a foul. He can't believe it. 6 seconds on the shot clock. Coach Mitchell can't believe it. Vree checks back into the game. And we're in for a heck of a finish, that's all I can say.
Yeah, both teams definitely trying to throw out their strongest punches. I did not see Joe make any hand contact, but we'll believe the refs.
And the ill-advised pass, it's a turnover. Dykhouse in transition. Dykhouse to Hacker. Hacker thinks about it. And back to Dykhouse. 21 seconds on the shot clock. It's Wilkins in front of the Hope bench.
Hope
Hacker.
struggling to see the mismatch of Sam Bree in the post.
Thomas for 3. Off the mark. Rose, like you talked about, Vree had a smaller Martin in the post, and they're going to say that Thigpen traveled. It's a costly turnover, and Granger comes in for Vree.
Great job absorbing the contact. I think that was Hacker there. He's done that a few times this year. Definitely can be a little bit of a charge card. And Hope needs to put together a good possession. We can see Thomas isn't at the 4, so they might try to stretch it out a little bit.
Granger inside, strong move with the left hand, that's good. Working on Martin, he's had that all night long. He has 26 on the evening. It's Long. Picks up his dribble, finds Pardee, base of the anchor. Under 5 minutes remaining. Martin inside, and Hope converts an and 1.
That's an unfortunate contact on Thomas. Was looking to get a charge call, but didn't have his feet set. Got called for the foul. Number 1 will go to the line. Kenyon Rainey, who should 2.
So Thomas picks up his second foul. And it's Martin misses the free throw. Dykhouse in transition crosses the timeline. Dykhouse working on Rainey. Gets some help from Granger. Over to Hackett. Hackett working on Rainey. Over to Dykhouse. To Thomas. Thomas, shot fake, drives, baseline left. Strong move with the left hand. That puts him over 20 for the evening. He has 21.
Thomas's game is just so smooth. He lulls his defender to sleep and then takes him on the dribble and uses the length to get to the basket.
Pardee for 3, misses everything. And it's Hackett in transition, 4 minutes remaining. 72-76, the Hope lead. Pardee, the outlet pass, Thigpen misses the dunk. And it's the Dutchman in transition, and Dykhouse will slow things down. Coach Mitchell wants to talk things over. He calls the timeout. It'll be a full timeout, 76-72. The 4-point Dutchmen lead the conference opener. 3:48 remaining in the second half. (76-72), the 4-point lead for the Flying Dutchmen. 3:48 remaining in regulation. It's been back and forth all night long. Rose, if you are head coach Sam Hargraves, first season at the helm, trying to get your first conference win of the year, what are you telling your players in the huddle?
Oh, I don't know. Rajan, I think obviously what's been working for this team is their transition game. But I do think they've struggled a little bit to shut down the Hope offense, so I think it's going to come down to just defensive effort, sizing up their bigs. Hope is obviously trying to utilize our size at this point in the game. But it's going to take one possession at a time for Olivet to stay in this game.
Yeah, and that was a nice look by Hackert to George, 78-72. It's a 6-point lead. Rainey top of the key to Martin.
Missed travel call in Coach Mitch's opinion.
There's been a few of those this evening. And it's Pardee basically anchored. Good defense by George.
Hey, there's the call.
And George draws the offensive foul on Martin. Martin can't believe it. And that's Martin's 4th foul of the evening.
Yeah, Martin threw his shoulder out a little bit. They're going to call that every time.
So Thomas will inbound to Dykhouse. 3:09 remaining in regulation.
Olivet attempting to increase their defensive pressure, picking up about 3/4 of the court. Turnover by the Dutch.
Comets in transition. Rainey for 3. No good, off the mark, rebounded by Granger, and Hackett will slow things down. Under 3 minutes remaining. It's a 6-point lead. Hackett, floater, big bucket by Calvin Hackett, and the lead is now 8.
Great job by Hacker, and as we're starting to see, we kind of mentioned it before the game started, Hope definitely averages more points during the year, which means a little bit more clutch time. As there's a foul, though Olivet just hasn't been able to match as we've gone through this the second half.
And Thomas picks up his 3rd foul. He has 21 on the evening. Team's 8th foul, so both teams in the double bonus. Rainey, first shot good, and Martin comes back into the game. A physical presence down low. Second shot is off the mark, rebounded by Thomas. A key missed free throw. Could have made it a 2-possession game, so it's Hackert working on Pardee. 20 seconds on the shot clock, 2 minutes remaining. Granger drives, wanted the foul, doesn't get it, ball goes out of play. It'll be Comet possession.
That was a great defensive play by Chris Martin. Keep his feet set, able to take the body blow of Granger and just allow the ball to go out of bounds.
And Sam Hargraves wants a full timeout. It's a full timeout, 80-73. The Hope lead, 2 minutes remaining in the second half. We'll keep it right here. Rose, what are you telling your players? You're Sam Hargraves. You know, it's a 7-point lead. You're still in this, but every possession becomes that much more important.
Right, exactly. I mean, obviously, with the clock looking like it does at this point in the game, each possession is going to be really important. And like I was saying earlier, composure is going to be so crucial, especially when it comes down to the last couple of minutes. Obviously, Hope is doing a great job of finishing the ball at the rim. Olivet, not so much, but they also haven't had as many opportunities late in the game to set up their half-court offense. I think that's something that's going to have to become an asset in these last 2 minutes for the Olivet offense if they're going to maintain this game. Obviously, they can't rely on just their transition points to make up this deficit at this point in the game.
And then, no, if you're Coach Mitchell in the huddle, what are you telling your guys? You're up 7. You kind of fell asleep at the wheel midway through the second half, and you've woken up now. But I mean, this lead could evaporate
again
in just a couple plays.
Composure is so important. I mean, I would just be telling your guys to take care of the ball on offense, get stops on defense. You know, do the little things. Comes down to the fundamentals at this point. Don't try to force it. Take good looks. You know, trust your teammates. That's going to be a big part of this next couple minutes.
So under 2 minutes remaining, Pardee
rejects the ball screen. Goes to the layup and nothing.
Dykehouse being double teamed, and he'll pick up the foul. And he'll head to the charity stripe to shoot a pair.
Best case scenario for Hope there. Seeing this result.
It's a faulty execution from the Olivet team on the trap on the baseline right as the ball is inbounded. It's the last thing you want to do is foul 90 feet from the basket, especially at this point in the game when it puts the other team on the line.
So 1:49 remaining, and Dykehouse sinks the first of 2. Fans, make sure to stay tuned to upcoming broadcasts this Saturday, January 11th. The men's basketball team hosts Albion right here at the Voss Fieldhouse at 3 p.m. Make your plans to be with us or visit hope.edu/live to catch the broadcast. That's Saturday, January 11th. And on Wednesday, January 15th, the women's basketball team hosts Calvin. Make your plans to be with us then. The highly anticipated matchup between the Flying Dutch and the Calvin Knights, as Martin takes a couple of unsolicited steps. It's a travel, a costly turnover, one you simply can't make. 81-73.
Olivet's starting to let it go a little bit. If you're on this Hope inbound team, when you get over half court, slow things down. There's only a minute and a half left in the game. Make Olivet make the plays to beat you. Don't beat yourself.
That's a good play run called by Coach Mitchell to have 3 penetrating guards coming in on the press break effort. Gets the ball to the middle of the court to Thomas, and George is trying to run the Hope offense.
Hackert to Granger. Granger to George. 7 on the shot clock. Granger inside with the right hand, and it's good. Excellent clock management. 83-73. The lead is now 10, 1 minute to go.
Great job by George, knowing exactly how much time pressure's on Olivet.
1 minute remaining. Pardee with the awkward-looking shot, no good.
Preston Granger gets a piece of it.
And it's Long who converts on the putback attempt. It's a 30-second timeout. We'll keep it right here, 83-75.
30-second timeout.
Fans, make sure to join us on Mondays this winter for the H Club Coaches Luncheon Series that runs through March 2nd. Hear from select Hope coaches and student athletes. The next luncheon is January 13th at the Moss Auditorium on the campus of Hope College. Doors open at 11:30 a.m. and cost is only $11 per person. It includes a buffet lunch, no reservation is needed. For more information, visit www.hope.edu/athletics. So it's 83-75, 55.4 seconds remaining. Noah, if you're Coach Mitchell, you want to maintain this lead, but you don't want to make mistakes on the defensive end. How do you stay disciplined with 1 minute left to go?
Again, stranger things have happened. You just need to follow your fundamentals, get the ball inbounded, don't force anything, as that was narrowly avoided.
And George dribbles through traffic.
Refuses to give up the ball.
And a foul is called. Waiting for a number. And the foul is on number 3. That's Long. That's his 4th foul.
Well, apparently just let Tyler George have the ball and run through everyone. That went well.
And the first shot is no good. And Martin checks back into the game. He has 4 fouls with 14 points this evening. As Carter checks out. And the back end of 2 is good. Pardee picks it up around half court. 45 seconds remaining. Pardee finds Martin inside. Martin, strong move with the right hand, and it's good. And Hargraves will take a timeout. It'll be a full timeout, so we'll step away. 84-77. 41.4 seconds remaining in regulation.
At Lawrence and Vanderswart, we are interested in the history of our community. The early Dutch settlers knew that in order for the tiny Holland community to flourish, they were going to need the shipping industry to stop by. So they began digging the channel, without help from the government, all by themselves. The dream of a real lighthouse was realized in 1936, when it switched on its big light for the very first time. The ships came, the lighthouse became an icon, and the ambition and hard work of those early settlers continues to bless our community to this day. Innovation and ambition today can pay dividends for decades. Lawrence and Vanderswart, interested in our history, invested in our future.
(84-77), the Hope lead. 41.4 seconds remaining in regulation. It's George to inbound. And George calls a timeout. It'll be a 30-second timeout. We will keep it right here.
Looks like this Hope team, is trying to continue to run the same inbounds play on the press break. And Olivet's caught on to their game. That's twice now that they've really struggled to get the ball in bounds. Coach Mitchell probably trying to draw up something else to break the press and get the ball up the court.
And this is a Hope team last year that really struggled to start fast in conference play and had to make up for it at the end of the season, and they were right in the playoff push. And so or the tournament push come tournament time and selection time. So bode well for this Hope team to start off with a big conference win at home against a conference rival. George's pass intended for...
That's a fortunate call for the Flying Dutch on that one. Again, really struggling to get the ball in bounds. Bring Preston Granger across the front of the defense and got a foul call.
That was fortunate, as the coaches were getting animated. It seemed as if Thomas was going to be the first option. He was cutting closer to the middle of the court and then just had to bail out to Granger at the very end.
So Carter will come back in. Martin fouls out. (16 points for Martin. Huge free throws from Granger. The first one is off the mark.
Missed that one short and a little to the left.
It's a 7-point lead. Granger trying to extend it to 8. Off the mark.
That one's wide right.
Comets in transition. Rainey, nice move inside, draws the foul, and it's good. And all of a sudden, this game became a lot more interesting real fast. And it'll be Rainey on the line and trying to complete the 3-point play, 84-79.
That could not have gone any better for Olivet. Missed free throws and an and one. Hope definitely needing to avoid making any contact when Olivet has the ball.
Here goes Mitchell, that's not what you want to see at this point in the game.
And it's George with the rebound, and George is fouled. And the foul call is on Rainey. He picks up his 3rd foul of the evening, only 5 points. That's his 4th, only 5 points on the evening. And it'll be George on the free throw line.
Thirty-two seconds left on the clock.
Crucial free throws coming from George. And the shot is up, and it is good. 85-79. 2.2 seconds separate game clock from shot clock as we near the end of regulation. And the shot is up, and it is good. So big free throws from Tyler George, 12 points on the evening.
Expanded to a 3-possession game. That's really,
And
really important at this point for the Hope Flying Dutch.
And Dykhouse is fouled. And Noah Wiswuri is called for the foul. That is his 2nd foul of the evening, 2 points for number 24. It's Dykhouse on the line to shoot a pair. The shot is up and good. 26.1 seconds remaining.
And this has been big for Hope. They have no seniors in the game right now. They're definitely being led by their younger talents. 2 juniors, a sophomore, and 2 freshmen. We'll see how they handle the outcoming.
And long to Wiswuri. Wiswuri, ball's tipped by Hackert. Rainey, the senior, kicks out. Wiswuri for 3, and it's good.
That's all right. That's not a bad look for Olivet, but that's also not the worst thing that could happen to this Hope team at this point. Got quite a bit of time off the clock on that offensive possession from Olivet. Got the ball up the court. That's what you want to see at this point in the game.
Wiswuri quickly picks up his 3rd foul. So Dykhouse on the line. And the first of 2 is good. 88-82. It's a 6-point Dutchman lead. And the shot is up, and it is good. So Pardee to Wiswuri. Wiswuri for 3. Off the mark. And this will all but do it. Pardee with the buzzer beater, but it doesn't matter as drive home safely, says the Flying Dutchman, as they usher in the new year with an opening conference win, 89-84. Special thanks to Steve Secor, Alan Babbitt, Philip Blah, the rest of the crew. Myself, John Crispin, alongside Rose Thompson and Noah Russo, saying good night. It's a Hope winner. Make sure to catch us Saturday, January 11th for the 2nd conference game of the year against Albion. Tip-off is at 3 p.m. For more information, visit athletics.hope.edu. Thank you so long, and roll Dutch.
Ladies and gentlemen, Hope College Flying Dutch were also victorious this evening, winning at Kalamazoo by a score of 77-37. Just a reminder, ladies and gentlemen, you have just a few days to order your Van Andel Institute Purple Games shirts. Go to www.hope.edu/purplegame to purchase your shirt. The purple games are January 22 for the men and January 25 for the women. And a final reminder, the H Club luncheons